All right, so I'm gonna try to um, talk into the microphone. Doing it professional. I think I might have gotten a job today on accident a little bit. Um, I really couldn't help myself. The universe kind of just laid it in my lap. Uh, so I was on the bus this morning. I've told this story to like a couple people already, but I have to tell it one more time because it's too good. And I was on the bus this morning going to school. Actually, yeah, this morning at 11 in the morning. And there was I was sitting on the bus. I was reading my business stuff, and my economics textbook technically, and there's a man sitting. I was sitting in the far left corner of the bus, and there's a man sitting on the far right corner, talking on the phone, and he seemed Latino. He seemed Mexican, to be honest. And if you're Latino, you can make those guesses. It's okay. And I'm Latino, so it's okay. In case you don't know, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm quarter Puerto Rican, which is enough to say you're Latino. And there was a Mexican man sitting in the right corner, and he was on the phone, and I overheard him. And I couldn't hear everything because it's loud back there. The engine's back there. But I heard a few keywords, which were dishwasher, weekends only, and something about somebody else, but that they were really fat. And I've it's not my first rodeo, so to speak, and I've just been waiting to use that expression for a few days. Honestly, I threw it in. I shoehorned it in. Sorry, won't ever happen again. All right. Um, and I thought, well, it sounds like they need a dishwasher part time for the weekends, and that they need somebody who is not fat because it's probably a small kitchen. I was like, I'm your guy. And so I waited for him to hang up on the phone, and I thought about it, and I was like, a dishwasher, I've done it before, and it's super easy, but it's kind of grimy, and it's the most humble job in the restaurant industry. Um, I don't really want to do that. I want something else. But then I was like, you know what, Pat? You're pretty lazy sometimes, and when the universe just throws something in your lap, you'd be a fool not to take it. And so I was like, all right, I'll play along with your perfection. And so I asked him, hey, do you speak Spanish? And he said, yeah. And so we spoke in Spanish. And I asked him forgiveness for eavesdropping, but that I overheard him talking about possibly needing a dishwasher. And man, I'm getting tired of holding this mic, dude. Like, I'm gonna put it down. That'll be the test. Uh, I'll just get a bit closer, I guess. But it's like too intimate, too intimate. All right, where was I? I explain that I overheard, and that I think he's looking for a dishwasher, and if that's true. And he said, yeah. And I asked, just part-time for the weekends? And he's like, yep. I was like, well, I have experience. I'm interested. It sounds like you're desperate. I didn't say that part. Um, do you think I could, interview for the job or something? I forget exactly what I said. And he's like, yeah, totally. Actually, he told me he's going to give me his boss's number, and I could call her and figure out the interview, if that's possible. And I was like, perfect. And so I called her a few minutes later at the train stop, while waiting for the train, and I scheduled an interview same day. This is all today, by the way. This is this morning, and then we scheduled the interview for 4 p.m. after my class. Yeah, and so I was a little bit nervous about the interview during my class because I sure wasn't expecting to have an interview today, and I was wearing flip-flops, and so I was like, oh god, I'm not dressed very professionally, like, it's gonna look a bit awkward, but, oh, I have to show you this shirt. Okay, can you read this? Can you read that? Alright. If you can't read it, it's gonna be awkward, but if you can, well, yeah, isn't that hilarious? I don't know where I got this shirt, but it's awesome. Let's see. Sorry, it's been a long day. We scheduled the interview. I was a little bit nervous in my class, but this isn't 20-year-old Pat. This is arguably 35-year-old Pat, and I took it pretty well, honestly. Like, I was just like, well, if you don't get the job, well, it's not meant to be. It's okay. But I had a feeling. I had a feeling I was kind of in, because once you're in with the chef, like, oh, that guy on the bus, that was the restaurant's chef. No big deal. And so I got to downtown. This restaurant is downtown. That's all I'll say. You'll never be able to find it. It's like, if you don't know where it is, I got lost trying to find it, which I'll explain. Because when I was told the address, like, I was the manager who I scheduled the interview with, when she texted me the address of the place, I looked at it, but I was like, no, I'll just go off what they told me. Careful. Don't make the same mistakes I've made. And so I walked to the location where I thought it was, and I saw a little restaurant that was like a Latin flavored restaurant, Latin themed, and it looked a little bit upper scale, like upper class, aka expensive, because it's actually a very nice neighborhood. That's all I'll say. There's a few of those sprinkled around downtown, so you won't be able to track me down with that. Sorry. Hopefully he's not watching, but there's a bit of a stalker problem at my old job, and he doesn't realize that he was interacting in a stalkerish kind of way, but from my past experiences, that's what I interpreted it as. So, sorry, dude. Like, he was probably just trying to be friends, but anyway, that's why I'm being a little bit dubious about my location, just because I just don't want to deal with that. But anyway, it's kind of a fun little exercise to omit certain facts, and that's probably healthy, because I'm a little bit too open sometimes. But anyway, I went to the area where I thought this place was, and I found this little restaurant, and I thought that's where it was, and it seemed to fit everything I knew about the place. I was like, oh yeah, it's a Latin place, restaurant, Latin themed restaurant. Of course they have, arguably competent looking, Latin chef. So boom, perfect. But I was there half an hour early, so I decided to just walk around for a bit, and I found this park, and I sat down for a bit. And 10 minutes before the interview, I headed over to this little restaurant, and I walked in, and I talked to the masseur, and I asked for the manager's name, and they just got this confused look on their face. They're like, who? Like, we don't know that person. I'm like, oh, like, is so-and-so not your chef? It's like, no. And I was like, oh, sorry, I must have the wrong place. And so for half an hour, I thought this was the right place. And so now with like 5 minutes left, it was not the right place, and so I quickly looked at the address. I found the right place. It turned out to be this like little, very very narrow, like impossible to spot building, a little hole in the wall, and it's not very ostentatious from the outside. You can't really tell that it's a restaurant at all. But once you go in, it's very nice. It seemed like it had a very upscale vibe, and it only has about like 5 tables and a large full bar. So I feel like the workload as far as dishwashing will be medium to minimal. So that's ideal, which probably means they'll have me help with kitchen prep and stuff like that, which would be kind of cool because the chef seems pretty chill, and I always enjoy learning from competent experts at stuff that's useful, like food preparation. And yeah, by the way, I am still doing a lot of raw meat. I'm doing raw meat every day, but I've also reintegrated some cooked meats because here's what happens. I eat raw meat for like a day, maybe 2 days, and then all my appetite leaves me, and I just can't eat it anymore. And I'm just like, no, like I want some cooked meat. I want something that tastes has like a strong flavor profile, and it it has a more defined texture. And I cook my meat very rare, or just completely raw in the center. I'm doing blue cheese burgers. Blue cheese burgers. Oh, so good, so good. Highly recommended. You melt a little bit of raw blue cheese on top, and of course it makes it not raw, but it still tastes fantastic, and it probably has still a little bit of bacteria and enzymes that are beneficial. Yeah, I forget where I was, but I'm looking forward to the dishwashing job, and it was very funny, serendipitous way I got it. I highly recommend following up on hunches if you've got them. They're there for a reason. Oh, that's right. I was telling the whole thing about getting the job. Anyway, so I finally found the place, and it was very hidden, and I'm pretty sure the current dishwasher, like I tried to ask him like if he knew like the manager, but I think he ignored me and went inside and just like closed the door quickly behind him because he had headphones, and maybe he just didn't even hear me, and it's downtown, so you don't want to. There's lots of crazy people around. Understandable, no worries. Couldn't get hold of the interviewer. Texted, waited a couple minutes, called exactly at 4 p.m. when I was supposed to be there. No reply, but then somebody came out and came over and unlocked the door and went back inside. So I went over and opened the door and walked in and was greeted by somebody, and then I explained I was there for an interview, and they seemed super nice, friendly, and had me sit down at the bar, and they gave me something I've never had before, or haven't had in a long time, which was a glass of water with like a completely chilled frozen glass. It was really fancy. I loved it. And the best part was the song that was playing on the sound system was Frank Sinatra's My Way. And that song is probably the most meaningful song of the last year for me, for personal reasons, mainly involving my grandmother. And also it's a fantastic theme song, or a personal reflection about how valuable it is to strike one's own path, and not let other people's opinions and words dissuade one from what one wants to do. And like he says, he did it his way. And so the song was playing, and it was beautiful, and the people were friendly. And then I interviewed with the manager real fast. Like, it took like 5-10 minutes maximum. I basically explained the two work jobs where I've had in restaurants or nightclubs. specifically working as a dishwasher or doing a combination of tasks. And I explained some of my other work experience, and I was very honest. I explained that I only wanted to work part-time, mainly weekends. Or I said weekends, really, but I'll explain. It changed a bit. And I also explained that I had a kind of a turbulent work history the last 10 years before my working as a custodian for PPS. But it's the restaurant industry, which has a lot of that turbulent work history. It's a little bit of the dregs of society, to put it in how the stereotype is. But it can be a little bit true. It's understandable. It's a very open-minded industry. They're just trying to get stuff done, and it's all about serving up the most basic necessity, food. I didn't hear the words like, "All right, you're hired," because it's not exactly that. I have to do one paid kind of test day where you test out a shift or a part of a shift, and after that, I think the final decision will be made. But I think as long as I don't have some sort of crazy life event, knock on wood, it should be in the bag. I think I've gotten the job. I need to get my food handler's card, and the pay will be minimum wage, but it'll have tips, so it balances out to about $20 an hour, which is about what I was making at my last job. I was making a little bit more, but this will be part-time. It'll be a little bit less stress. I'll be working 32 hours a week. I'll be working Wednesday through Saturday, which is not Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which is what I was mainly looking for. But it should keep things interesting. It should keep me busy for a lot of the week. I'll have Sunday off. Yeah. And maybe I'll be able to invest a little bit of money in some entrepreneurial work. That'll be, I think, the main focus of it. Alright, thanks for listening.